Assalamu alaikum. Hi, my dear students. How are you? I hope all of you are doing well. You know, we have finished the drawing graphs and curved graphs, and we will take the next lesson. It's a very important lesson, not only for this year, but also for you in the next year and in the higher grades. Our lesson today is the gradient. You know, for example, if you have 2 points like 3 and 4 and the other point as 6 and 8. You know, we take 3 as the first coordinates as it will be x, and the next coordinate it will be y. Also in the other point, 6 for x and 8 for y. We will rename the first point or the first coordinates in the first point as x1 and the second coordinates as y2. And here 6, it will be in the other point, the second point x2 and y2. To get the gradient between the 2 points, you should know that the gradient between the 2 points equals the difference between y coordinates, which means y2 minus y1, over the difference between x coordinates, which means x2 minus x1. Where is y2 in your point? Yes, 8. Minus, where is the y1? Yes, 4. Divided by x2 as 6. Minus x1 as 3. Then 8 minus 4, it will be, yes, 4. 6 minus 3, it will be 3. Then my gradient here, I can simplify this fraction because it's in the simplest form. Then the gradient here will be 4 over 3. Okay? Then to get the gradient, you should know the difference, that the difference between y coordinates, y2 minus y1, divided by the difference between x coordinates, x2 minus x1. You have 2 points and you can take any order. You should take one point as x1, y1 and the second point as x2, y2. Then you follow the rule. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, you should also know, if you have a graph, you know that the horizontal line as x-axis and the vertical line as y-axis. If your line slant to right, like Nike sign, that for example like this line, that line rising, then the gradient here will be positive gradient. If you have a graph, here is x-axis and here is y-axis, and if your line slant to left, following like this line, then the gradient here will be negative gradient. Okay? Now I want you to open your textbook, page I think 57, yes, exercise 12, and try to solve with me. Hurry up, open your book. Yes, we will solve in exercise 12 question A. Here you have 2 points, the 2 points here as 1, 3 and the other point 2 and 6. What will, yes, at first you should rename here x and here also y. Here x and here also y. The first coordinates for x and the second coordinates for y. In the first point I will write x1, y1. In the second point I will write x2, y2. Then to get the gradient, yes, excellent. The gradients, who can tell me the rule? Yes, the difference between y coordinates, which means y2 minus y1, divided by x2 minus x1. then y2 will be 6 minus y1 as 3. 6 minus 3 divided by x2, 2 minus x1 as 1. Then here our gradient I can call as a gradient or a slope, which means the same. The gradients here 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3 it will be 3. 2 minus 1 it will be 1. Then the gradient here is a positive gradient as 3 over 1 it will be 3. Okay, we can solve this second question. We will go to question B. Here also I have 2 points, 1 and 3. The other point 3 and 7. Hey, excellent point. Teacher, here x1, y1. The second point x2, y2. Then I will write my rule. The gradient equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. From where I will get my coordinates? y2 here 7 minus y1 as 3 divided by x2 as 3 minus x1 as 1. The gradient 7 minus 3 it will be 4. 3 minus 1 it will be 2. Then the gradient here 4 divided by 2 it will be 2. Then the gradient will be 2. I want you to solve from question C to H as a homework. Please solve it today, not tomorrow. Try to solve with yourself and message me. Okay, we will go to the question I and J. I will solve now I and J. Okay, here I want to get the gradient and you have 2 points. Where is the 2 points? Yes, -2 and -4, and the other point -1 and 2. At first, yes, I hear you. Excellent. I will write here x1, y1. The other point x2, y2. How can I get the gradient? Yes, the gradient or the slope, which means the same. The difference between y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Where is y2? y2 is 2 minus y1 -4. Oh, don't confuse. Here I don't write 2 minus 4. No, 2 minus -4 divided by x2 minus x1. x2 -1 minus x1 -2. I will put the number between 2 brackets because it's a negative number. Here you have 2 negatives and here you have 2 negatives. Minus negative, negative, negative. It will be plus. Here it will be plus. Then the gradient will be 2 plus 4 divided by -1 plus 2. Then the gradient 2 plus 4 it will be 6. -1 plus 2, -1 plus 2 it will be 1. The gradient 6 divided by 1 it will be 6. Okay, the other question, who can solve it with me or with himself? You can solve it before me. Yes, I take more time, but you are clever. You will take small times to solve it. I will wait 2 minutes. Okay, who gets the answer? Yes, here I will rename the first coordinates here as x1 and here y1. Also the second point x2 and y2. Who can tell me the gradient? Who knows the rule? Yes, y2. Yes, teacher, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Yes, the gradient. Where is y2? Yes, y2 as 6 minus -3. I will put my number between 2 brackets because I have minus -3. x2 negative 2 minus 2. You have the sign, two negative signs, it will be plus. Then the gradient will be 6 plus 3 divided by negative 2 minus 2. The gradient 9 divide negative 2 minus 2, it will be negative 4. You can write 9 divided by negative 4 or negative 9 divided by 4, which is the same. Okay, I can simplify more because the gradient here in the simplest form. Okay, you should finish this exercise. Question 1, solve from C to H. Okay, I will go to the second question. Okay, in the second question, find the gradient of the line. I have more lines, but I don't have any points. From where I can get my point? Yes, excellent. You can get your points from the graph. Here on the graph you have 4 points. You can get your points from the graph. Okay, if your point on x-axis, then y, it will be 0. If your point in y-axis, then x coordinates, it will be 0. For example, in point A, here my point in x-axis, then the value of y coordinates will be 0. And the other coordinates, x coordinates, will be 1, 2 from the left, then will be negative 2 and 0. The point B, here my point on y-axis, then the value of x coordinates, it will be 0. And the other point will be 5. The third point C, I will take at first from x, then I will take from y. From x as 5, from y, yes, 2 steps up, then will be 2. The last point D, here I will take from x at first and then from y. From x 1, 2, 3, 3.3 steps, right, then x-axis will be 3. On y-axis, it will be negative 3. Then I get my points from the graph. I can get the gradient. Question A, he wants the gradient between A and B. What should we do now? Yeah, well done. We will write our points, negative 2 and 0, and the other point 0 is 5. Okay, at first you should know x1 and here y1 and the other point x2 y2. Then I will write my rule, the gradient. Who can tell me? Yes, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Where is y2? Yes, as 5 minus y1 as 0. x2 as 0 minus x2 as negative 2. Okay, here negative minus and negative, it will be plus. Then 5 minus 0 divided by 0 plus 2. Finally, the gradient will be 5 minus 0 will be 5 over 0 plus 2, it will be 2. The gradient here will be 5 divided by 2. You can write 5 divided by 2 or 2.5. It's up to you. Okay, it is the same. The second, B and C. B and C. Where is my point? Yes, B 0 and 5 and C 5 and 2. At first we will rename the points here x1, y1, and in the second point x2, y2. To get the gradient, you should write the rule, the gradient y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. y2, where is y2? Yes, 2 minus y1 equals 5 divided by x2, y2 as 2 minus 5, x2 as 5 minus 0. Don't confuse, please. You have here 2 minus 5, not 5 minus 2. Don't say 3. No, 2 minus 5, it will be negative 3. 5 minus 0, it will be 5. Then the gradient here will be negative 3 over 5. I can simplify more. It's the simplest form. Question C. Yes, C. C and D. I want the gradient between C and D. Where is my point? I will write my point and then get the gradient. C, 5 and 2. D, 3 with negative 3. 3 with negative 3. To get the gradient, I should rename my coordinates here: x1, y1, x2, y2. To get the gradient, I will write my rule. Who can tell me the rule? Yes, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The gradient here, where is y2? Yes, negative 3 minus y1, 2. Divided by x2, yes, 3 minus 5. The gradient here, negative 3 minus 2. Negative 3 minus 2. Don't say 2 or 5. No, negative 3 minus 2, it will be negative 5. 3 minus 5, not 5 minus 3. 3 minus 5, it will be negative 2. Then the gradient here, negative 5 over negative 2. Negative divided by negative, it will be positive number. Then the gradient will be 5 over 2. You can write 5 over 2 or you can write 2.5. The same. Okay. The last question, question D. He wants to get the gradient between D and A. Okay, D and A. Where is my point? My points. D as 3 and negative 3. And A, negative 2 with 0. Okay, to get the gradient, I will define here x1, y1, x2, y2. Excellent. Then I will write my rule. The gradient or the slope equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Where is y2? Yes, y2 as 0 minus y1 negative 3. Okay, I have negative, negative. It will be plus. x2, where is x2? Negative 2 minus 3. Then the gradient here, 0 plus 3 divided by negative 2 minus 3. The gradient, 0 plus 3 will be 3. Negative 2 minus 3, it will be negative 5. You can write 3 over negative 5, or you can put the negative sign up, negative 3 over 5, which means the same. Okay, then we finish our lesson today. See you soon.